Episode of Ho Ho Hong Kong. I'm your host Muhammad Magdi, and I'm sitting here with my buddy, my co-host, and my best friend in the whole world.
For the next hour.
Ben. Oh yeah. What's your name again?
Ben. I'll go with that one just in case we talk about topics like
Ben Vufufani.
Exactly. I would take that. So I am Vivek Mobani over here, and yeah, we're doing the podcast again. It's the Ho Ho Hong Kong time.
Yeah, buddy. I'm very excited for this one because our guest is a very special guest, friend of mine. I've known this guy for many years. Actually, you know, I used to see you before I moved to Hong Kong. I would come down from Shanghai and I would come and have a bite, but we never really spoke. Okay. But before we get into the guest, now we're just a little teaser. Guy makes amazing food. What are you up to, Vivek?
Me,
recently?
actually, so I just had lunch, so this is perfect. This is a good segue into talking about food. But for me, recently, we did shows. I had the show I was hosting Tim Chan's show the other day.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a really mixture of a local crowd.
Right. So I think the comics kind of struggle sometimes when it's mostly locals.
Yeah.
It's just with the adjustment.
Yeah. He's not used to it, right?
Yeah, they're not used to it. But also, like, it's funny because Tim Chan is one of my favorite comedians. He's really funny, but he relies on the English, like his English not being so good.
Yeah.
But when his audience is mostly other locals, they're like, okay, well, his English sounds great.
Yeah, we understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Where are the jokes?
Are you saying all our English is bad? Because like we understood him. Where do we find you, Mohammed?
Oh yeah, find me on Instagram at the other Muhammad. How about you?
At Funny Vivek, sometimes without the letter, and depends on your mood. Type it with.
Are there any other Viveks in Hong Kong?
There are other Viveks, but they're not funny. So let's leave it at that.
Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So let's get to our guest. So our guest today is Charbel Assaf. Charbel, he runs Beyrouth Bistro with his three brothers, Joseph, Chris, and I knew I'm going to miss one, Pierre.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, everybody, a lot of people that must have already eaten at your place. Many people may not know the name of it, but they'll know the location of it.
Yeah.
People usually they're half drunk with that place in the corner over there. So Linda's Terrace.
Yeah.
At the corner of Linda's Terrace and Hollywood Road, you'll see this beautiful place called Beyrouth Bistro.
Correct.
And you go down there, look at the menu, just randomly pick something, and it's tasty.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
You guys have been here since, 1994?
Well, Joseph is the one who arrived first in Hong Kong in early 90s. And he started a restaurant called Beyrouth in Lang Kwai Fong.
Okay.
So that was one of the first Lebanese establishment in Hong Kong. And
Joseph is the eldest, right?
Joseph is the oldest brother.
Right, okay. And when did you arrive to Hong Kong?
Well, I visited one time in 96, 97. And then I've been living here continuously since 2000, end of 2000.
Where were you living before, when you were visiting? What was home for you?
It was Lebanon because I was still studying. So I finished my studies and I decided to move and join my brothers because the situation in Lebanon did not look good that time, and it's not looking good this time.
Yeah,
it didn't look good back then.
Mo sent me a crash cart video of 15 minutes. I've done all the extensive research. I know everything about Lebanon at the moment.
Yeah.
I know there are issues. I know the currency crisis. I pretty much, what do you want?
We actually brought you here so we can educate you about Lebanon.
Thank you. Oh, I've been missing all this news for the past 2 years now.
Well, you're stuck behind the counter every night until what? When do you finish work?
Well, we do finish earlier now than before because of COVID. Thanks to COVID.
I don't know.
We used to finish very late. Now we're finishing the latest around 3 a.m. in the weekends.
It used to be longer.
Used to be late, yes.
Probably like 5 in the morning. 7, right? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you do breakfast at this point?
No, but we wanted to make sure nobody goes home hungry.
Yeah. Look at you caring for the community.
Yes.
Exactly. For the drunk community. Let's clarify that.
Yeah, because you're...
no breakfast. So we only care about the drunk guys.
Here's a question for you because you have been on the same corner since when? This location?
Yeah, 1998.
Right. Okay. So when did Peel Street become like the new hotspot?
Peel Street became the new hotspot, I think, during the protest.
Oh, so quite recently.
Yeah, became very popular because no protests were happening there and became very convenient for the resident just to come downstairs and party and go upstairs and sleep.
True. It's a very smart location, Peel Street, because like over there, what you have stairs. You have a whole bunch of stairs, so then automatically you stay for one more drink.
Right.
Because you're like, if I want to do that, I got to have one more beer in me. I can't do that. And then by the second beer, you're like, oh, I got to have some food. And bam, there's Beyrouth Bistro.
Yeah.
Like, boom, I got kebabs. Boys. No, let me ask you this. So back then, you guys were the only kebab guys, right, in that corner.
Well, we started there in 2000. There were nothing happening after midnight. So everything
exactly.
was happening in Lang Weifang. People will come from like Lang Weifang all the way to our place to eat.
Yeah.
And in 2001, 2002, this is when things start to happen very close to our place.
Yeah.
The drop opened and other.
Drop. Yeah. Little corner, little dive bar kind of thing. Like really, Drop is one of these places that you have to be kind of like special to know where it is.
Yes.
Is it one of these places that like there is like an old lady with like a wooden door or something, and you have to whisper something to her ear?
No, there's a lady like with tarot cards and stuff. You're like, you get like, you lucky? Yeah, you may go in and drop. Yeah.
Yeah, that time GPS wasn't so popular, so people needed a guide to get to Drop.
So is it still around or no?
It's still there, right? Drop is, it's in the
unfortunately, they closed the business last year, end of last year.
Oh,
Okay.
damn. You
Someone
didn't even know. You
took
don't
over,
party
yeah.
anymore.
I don't
you
party
old
enough.
man.
I dropped out of the drop scene.
Yes, good
Nice.
choice.
Hey, comedy, everyone.
Hey, check it out. So
He didn't hear that.
You didn't hear it. Doesn't matter.
Okay, no worries.
He just did like a silly effect, like
Yeah.
Nice.
So just to let everybody know, to all our Patreon subscribers who are there, we're actually using new equipment today.
Oh yeah, thanks to all the Patreon. For real though, we dick
Yeah.
around a lot, but we're really, really grateful. We have beautiful new equipment. Actually, for the picture for this episode, we should include the equipment.
Yeah, we will
just for the
actually.
Patreons, not for the free ones.
Yeah, the free ones. So I wanted to, you're listening to something you didn't pay for right now.
Yeah, exactly.
People. So please subscribe to our Patreon page.
No, but thank you so much to all the Patreons. Actually, next week we should remember also have a list of names, so we can thank them. But yeah, we have new mics, we have a new equipment. I can hear myself as well.
New glass.
New glasses, exactly. Right? We got new guest.
New-
Look at that.
Yeah, we paid his coffee. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, thanks to the Patreons. Actually, I didn't pay for it. The Patreons
Yeah,
did.
exactly.
Thank you.
All right, so coming back, you were saying that. So then that corner, pretty much, Peel Street opened up, and then people would come into your place for food. It's a common thing, right? Drinking and kebabs and basically that kind of food. But do you get a lot of people that basically go there and are really picky with their food? You know, the type like, I don't want the lettuce, can I have it this way? Do you have like those customers?
Yeah, some people are like, I found out many people don't like raw tomatoes.
Oh, really?
For a reason. They love any cooked, but not in their kebabs.
Huh.
Oh, no
So
raw
it's a little
tomatoes.
bit, and they become so fussy when they see it in their kebab.
Yeah.
When we don't take it out.
Right.
And
That's
as
so
if,
weird
like, you're
because
giving
obviously
him
back
poison.
home we eat our kebabs with raw tomato all the time.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is-
and even shawarma back home in Egypt.
Yes.
It's not really raw, but it's mixed with the shawarma meat, but it's also not really cooked either.
Yes.
Yeah. So, why do you think that is? Like because apparently you see it many times, right?
Maybe they were. They don't like tomato. I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe they want, like, if I'm paying this price, you better cook everything.
Right.
Like, I
So
got
they're
raw
cheap,
tomato at
cheap.
home.
Make them work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see you double pan fry that. I'm feeling good. That tastes better now.
Okay, so you come from a pretty big family, right? Like how many siblings are you in total? Because you came here with three other brothers.
Yes, we are 9.
Oh my God!
man.
Do you,
Three
so-
brothers and 3
so
sisters.
I was already trying to. I
mean,
messed
6
up.
brothers.
Yeah, I was doing the math. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, 3 brothers, 3 sisters. You have 9, like what? 3 invisible siblings. You're like, okay, kids, we can have food for everyone. So with, like, this is your parents' trick on you, like 6
Yes.
siblings, and like we're gonna split this amongst 9.
Yeah.
Wait, where did the other 3 go? Oh, you're somewhere.
I already messed up the names of him and his 3 brothers earlier. Do you remember all 9 names?
Not all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man.
So the 4 of you are here. Obviously, I know all of you guys. Where are the other? Fuck. Where's the
Other 5.
two
other
brothers.
5? Yeah. Where are the
Well,
other 5?
We have 1 sister in Canada,
Yeah.
2 sisters still in Lebanon,
Yeah.
and 2 brothers in USA.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So
So touching on the Lebanese politics a little bit, Lebanon has a population of what 3 million inside the country
yeah, close to 3.5 million.
and 10 million outside of the country. Is it or is it more
a
now?
little bit more now,
Oh my God! Is that
and
like
the number is increasing.
right? Is that obviously there is a lot of political and historical stuff that led to this point, but is that the country with the most like expats outside of its own population
Yeah,
ever?
I think we are one of those countries where you have more
Yeah.
Lebanese overseas than in the
I like
country
how your
itself.
family reflects that statistic as well. Like you only
Exactly.
have 2 in Lebanon, everyone else
Yeah.
is in USA and Canada and Hong Kong. You're like, all right, most of us get out, 2 of you stay.
Small sample of Lebanese families. You have
That's
them
right.
all over.
Yeah. Okay. And so your brother first came here. Did he come with the purpose of opening a restaurant in Hong Kong, or what was he doing here, Joseph?
Yeah, that was the purpose of his visit to Hong Kong, because he was living in England when Hong Kong was still a British colony,
Okay.
and Hong Kong was basically start to become the place to be in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And that's when he decided to come over
Right.
and start the business with some friends who lived here in Hong Kong.
Okay, were they Lebanese as well?
Yeah, one of them was Lebanese, others weren't. So this is how it started.
Okay. And so he moved here and then he opened the business on Lang Kwai Fong. Did he tell you any stories about what Lang Kwai Fong was like back then?
Well, I think Lang Kwai Fong was the only place for expat or anyone to come and have
drink and party. Yeah,
drink and
it
party
was
and
like
have
the place.
all these foreign cuisines.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
It was
Outside
like-
Lang Kwai Fong, everything was mostly local cuisine.
Yeah. You would have. You just have some foreign like in the hotels and everything. But Lang Kwai Fong was the place. Like you wanted to kind of have like that Friday, Saturday night
Yes.
out. That's the place to go to. Like there was
Yeah.
no like, oh, we go to Shim Sai Shui for a change. There's no change.
Yeah.
It's this or nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, so he came from England. You came from Lebanon.
Yes.
What about the two, Chris and Pierre?
From Lebanon as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we
So
almost-
was it like Joseph was really established and then he's decided to pull the family one by one?
Exactly.
He's like, follow me, follow this way.
Yeah, imagine if I just grow the comedy club to be so big that I was just getting my brothers to come work for me.
Exactly. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Did he have like a good proper salary and everything? He's like, family don't get paid. In the beginning, when he first came here to work with Joseph,
Yes.
were they like just kind of family helping each other out kind of a deal?
A little bit in the beginning, but it was also like to start something together because even back in Lebanon, we worked together every summer. We used to have our own little summer business
Yeah.
just for the brothers to stay together and make some money
Oh yeah, some project,
before we
right?
go back to school or university.
Okay, yeah. So back in a young age, you were already like, let's make money. Let's
Yeah.
make money.
Yeah,
together.
yeah. I mean, because when we were growing up, we had war at the same time. So
Yeah.
you don't want to get involved with all this nonsense.
Yeah.
Because for us, war wasn't our problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't our interest because it's not us who did all that.
Yeah.
So my parents wanted us to stay on the right track and look for the future, not just
Understood.
basically lose everything because of.
So your parents wanted to retire early, like focus on the part you can make money for us, right? We don't care about the other part.
Exactly.
Right?
That's kind of like Chinese parents, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's one thing. I'm like, this is identical.
Yeah.
Right? And like every Chinese family that usually goes somewhere else, the best way to make money, make a restaurant, just sell your own food.
Yeah.
You're cooking at home anyway, so make people pay for that.
Yes.
Were you
and-
guys in the F&B? Like, was the family in the F&B before you started here, or?
No, it was more just like summer hobby,
Okay.
summer thing to do.
Huh.
I'm agricultural engineer, so my background is where to get all the raw material for restaurants.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's
But
like-
now I know where they end up.
Yeah.
In the stomach of everyone.
Exactly.
What was it like? Because your staff, aside from you and your brothers, your staff are Filipino, right?
Yes.
Okay. What was it like teaching? Because obviously in the Philippines, I imagine they don't really know the Middle Eastern cuisine that well.
Well, that's true. But that's why you see us all the time at the restaurant because we know that you can't count 100% on the staff.
Right.
There will always be something special or to make it taste always Lebanese.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have special requests from customer who've been in the Middle East.
Yeah. So they
want
know their
something
shit.
authentic or traditional with this, without this.
Yeah.
So we make sure that they get what they ask for.
Right. But what was it like teaching someone from such a different culture, a cuisine that they might have not even heard of?
Well, because we come, like I said, none of us is a chef.
Right.
So we taught the staff how we learn how to cook.
Right.
So basically, we made it simple. We prepare everything. All they have to do is just cook and serve. So marination-wise, preparation is made by us.
So you guys are still very involved.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which leads me actually to the next question. You and your three brothers, what is the separation of roles there? Because I see you all, obviously there are shifts, right?
Yes.
Sometimes people are in the morning or the afternoon, but do you all do different things or do you all do the same thing at different times?
No, we do almost different things.
Yeah, okay.
And
So
we
what is
help
the
each other
separation
whenever-
there?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is. Like I'm more involved in the cooking and preparation of recipes.
Okay.
Joseph,
You're more hands-on.
Yes.
Okay.
Joseph is basically managing the place,
The boss.
daily operation.
Hey, make sure the place
And
stays.
Yeah.
Pierre is more into the office paperwork. So
Okay.
he's,
Oh, okay.
and the
okay,
younger
okay.
brother is just a backup.
So I don't know if you have been recently. Every time I pass by, Chris is just eating. It's hilarious.
So he's a quality controller, basically.
Yeah. So far, so good
Yeah.
today. I'll let you pass. Otherwise, he goes on openrice.com. Terrible guys. I'm one.
Chris is also like because Charbel is a very social guy. Like he's the guy that everyone knows, and he's kind of like behind the counter talking to everyone. Chris is my favorite because he just just by himself in the corner.
Yeah.
And 100% of the time he's just eating.
He doesn't want to waste his time. He has other places to visit.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, hey, don't let the food go to waste, right?
Yeah,
At the end of the day, the raw tomatoes are sitting there. Someone do something.
Exactly.
Chris,
Yeah.
get to work.
True.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this though, Charbel, so when you came to Hong Kong, you started working at the restaurant and everything. But I also see, like you said, you have a different background with the agricultural
Yes.
studies and everything. And also in 2003 was it? We
Yeah.
did that. So just let
Personal
you know,
training course, yes.
Yeah, we did this personal training course. I want
Yeah.
everybody, the listeners, to go Google pictures of us, okay, and imagine us telling you one more rep.
One more, exactly.
We were in a personal training course where we had to do all the stuff, right? Learning the
Yes.
anatomy, do the exercise, and did you got the full certification, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I did
same.
get
Yeah,
it,
we got the full thing as well. So technically,
Is it still valid?
no.
No, you have to renew it.
Yeah,
every
looking
two
at
years.
both,
Yeah.
looking at both of you, it's not valid.
Yeah, every 2 years, you got to renew them.
I would not want to hire either of you as my personal
exactly.
trainer.
Like I tell people, man, I'll pay you to let me be your trainer. No, it's
Nah.
cool. I like my body so far. If this is your work, not happening, man. So back then, why was the interest in personal training? Was it part to do with like just your own personal interest, or like something to do with the restaurant?
I've always been involved in sports since
Yeah.
school time.
Yeah.
And that time, I remember 2003, we had SARS.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the government of Hong Kong was asking everyone to boost their immune system. And the only way to boost that is through healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think it became a big trend that time to work out, to eat healthy, be outdoors, so just to stay fit.
Yeah.
Can we go back to that instead of the vaccinations that don't work?
Yeah, go
Well,
back
I
to
think this is what I did this last year and now because
Yeah.
I know that it worked before
Yeah.
to be outdoor, to
Oh,
stay fit,
yeah.
and I'm still doing it.
Which is why your restaurant is kind of semi-open space, so you're
Yes.
outdoor technically, right?
Exactly. I'm
Exactly.
I mean,
outdoor,
look at this guy.
Very
Any
smart.
time of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save on the air conditioning. Hey, don't look at me, man. It was the weather. Blame the weather.
Did you ever think of shifting careers after you did personal training, that you just stay a personal trainer and leave the restaurant?
I did do personal training for part-time until 2016.
Oh wow! So for
So
how
I
long?
was involved for some time.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I had to leave Hong Kong for a couple of years. That's why I stopped it now.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I was involved for almost 12 years. 13
Wow.
years.
So you had your own customers and your
Yes,
own
yes,
routine
yes.
and everything.
Wow, that's good.
Were you less involved in the restaurant then?
I was doing both. Yeah, less involved in the restaurant because I had to wake up sometimes very early in the day to do PT
Yeah.
sessions.
Did you ever tell your customers, your clients, for personal training, be like, oh, high protein diets are important?
Yeah,
so,
that was part of the package. I
So
was
so
telling.
Beyrouth Bistro after.
If you want lean food or
Yeah.
low calorie, low fat,
Yeah.
well designed meals, come
Yeah,
over.
exactly. Our tomatoes are raw or cooked, depending what you prefer.
How bad do you feel about you used to make people lose weight? Now you're helping them gain weight.
No, actually, no, not really.
You're fattening them up after they get drunk.
It depends on how you eat it, right? Like,
Yeah,
it depends on,
exactly, exactly.
calorie
If
in,
you eat
calorie out.
like me, yeah, you're getting because like you show up at 4 a.m. I'm like just put it all in my face.
Yeah, so if you eat like Chris, then yeah, you're definitely gonna put on weight.
Yeah, but if you eat like me,
Yeah, then
basically
there you
you're good.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's amazing because obviously I've been in Asia for almost 10 years now, and I would always try every country I go to in Southeast Asia or in general. I always try to try the Middle East cuisine just to see how close it is.
Yes.
And yours, honestly, and not because I have already known you, yours is the closest I could find to the original stuff because I've been to Lebanon as well, and I know what Lebanese
Yes.
food should taste like. Yours and Maison Lebanese, actually, I really like them as well. It's quite expensive and not a plug, but they're great as well. But everything else is like, eh. Even I've been to Egyptian Lebanese restaurants in Tokyo and Bangkok. It's always kind of off.
Well, I think most of the time people try to use ingredients available in the country where they are, and this is where you start missing or lacking the original taste.
So you import
We
most
do import
things.
all the spices
Everything.
needed for
Oh,
for
wow.
cooking. So
that's good
what-
to know, man.
Yeah.
You eat those raw tomatoes, people. You're wasting it. They are proper, authentically raw tomatoes. So how does it make you feel though when you see like a lot of other kebab shops open up and then you just I'm sure the general public don't really know how to appreciate the authenticity in the food, but does it bother you? Or you kind of like, well, whatever, I don't really mind.
No, not really, because every shop has its own identity now.
Yeah.
It's like some people like kids, they only like their mother food.
Yeah.
And some kids, when you invite them on, they don't like it because it doesn't taste like mother food. So same for us. People come, if they like it, they stay with us. They don't like it, they go somewhere else. And Hong Kong offers a lot of choices. Like in general, like for example, our food is not spicy.
Yeah.
People who like spicy food, when they come to us, they don't feel like they are enjoying the meal because it's not spicy enough for them. They go somewhere where it can be spicier.
Is that a conscious decision on your part to not have spicy food?
Well, no, that's the Lebanese. Like I said, we're doing traditional Lebanese food,
Right.
so it's not spicy.
To be honest, I don't remember in Lebanon eating anything that spicy.
No.
So you're probably right.
So
yeah.
we try, because like I said, we are not. We don't come from culinary background.
Yeah.
We enjoy eating. At
Just home food, yeah.
Yeah, so we cook it the way we like to have it, and that's how we serve it.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
But then during all these years, though, you must have had people come up to you and kind of maybe complain and compliment and everything. Do you remember like someone was really a really strong impression where someone was like, "Wow, I needed this tonight. Like this was exactly." It hit the spot. Was there any customers that came and said, "Oh, I needed this taste in my mouth. I miss home." Have you had that? Especially with COVID, people can't travel. Do you have a lot of people come up and say, "Oh, thank you. I needed this to remind me of the good old days"?
Yes, that's true. Especially with our garlic sauce, that's unforgettable.
Yeah.
That's
That's
actually
what
right.
makes the special touch on our food is the garlic sauce we have.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there just like a secret ingredient, or except
Just
for
like I
love?
said, a lot of love and
Yeah.
a lot of garlic.
It's true to the name, people. It's not
Yeah.
MSG. It's not powder. It's actual garlic,
No, it's
imported
real
garlic.
yes.
Yeah. Real.
Switching gears a little bit, because one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on is that Lebanon is kind of like on the mainstream media a lot recently. And clearly since the last year and since the blast and all of that. So first of all, explain to people like us who are not Lebanese, what the fuck happened at the harbor?
We don't know till now.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the problem.
We've only seen the footage of just that boom. That's
Yeah,
it.
but it looks like a nuclear blast.
Yeah, they were there. This is the big. It was the first test of our nuclear bomb created in Lebanon. Well, I don't know what happened. It's just goes back to accumulation of years of mismanagement and corruption in the country. So this is what we get at the end.
Right, but what are the things? Do you watch the news a lot, or are you kind of disconnected from?
Well, the news haven't changed for me. It haven't changed for maybe 10, 15 years. The
Right,
same
it's always
news
Same
over and
story,
over,
right?
yeah.
So the only thing that changes is like I know that more people are leaving the country because they can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
No future, no nothing. I mean, basically, the country is losing a lot of its basic.
Talents and- all the talented people are out. All the young
Yes.
generation don't want to be there anymore.
Correct.
So it's gonna eventually, just people are gonna just give up and just walk away, and eventually because the country needs people to kind of build it up again, because now it's like in real bleeding state. you
It
know?
is. It is.
Yeah, and
I mean, many Lebanese, like especially doctors, the past 4 or 5 months, we've been losing every month around 1,000 plus medical staff.
That's crazy.
From doctors to nurses to specialists, everyone.
By losing, you mean they're leaving or dying?
No, they're leaving
Okay.
for better
For a
opportunities.
place with
somewhere
only
else.
3 million people, that's
Right.
like
Yes.
1,000 per month. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like a whole country. It's much bigger than Hong Kong as a
Yeah,
city.
yeah.
And it's like less than half the population.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
But then, do you have friends over there? Well, you have the 2 sisters.
I still have 2 sisters.
But what are they up to? Like, do they have thoughts about leaving, or are they,
Yes, that's the plan for the future because they still have kids
Yeah.
going to school.
Yeah.
But the minute they decide to go study for university, I think their first choice will be to leave the country and study abroad.
Fair enough, because bringing the kids, especially when they're teenagers and stuff, is really hard to suddenly pull them out of a place and then
Yes,
restart
correct,
life.
yeah.
So it has a big impact on. I guess in many ways it's parallel to what's happening in Hong Kong. A lot of families are leaving here as well, just because they can't take it anymore. They've given up or maybe lost hope or just don't want this environment anymore to live in for their kids as well. So would you say that over there in Lebanon, the people who are there 2 types? The type that just like, oh, whatever, this is life, I'm used to it, and they're all depressed and stuff, or are the type where they just don't have the choice to leave? Is it most of that?
Well, sometimes yes, because some of them they just don't care anymore. This is the life for them.
Yeah, it's gotten used to
And
it.
some of them they're not able to leave and they want to leave, but they have many things restricting their leaving. Money sometimes, visa not easy to get.
Yeah.
So these are 2 main things that they are stopping them from leaving as soon as they can.
Wow.
Was anyone held accountable for the harbor blast?
Well, so far the investigation came up with a list of people involved in that because that thing goes back to 2013,
Right.
when the shipment arrived in Lebanon and was stored.
What was the shipment made of? Like what was?
Well, made of ammonium nitrate.
Okay.
And, which is like basically the main compound of explosives
Right.
or bombs.
Yeah.
What was it? What was it originally intended for? Like what was the use of it?
Well, they said the shipment came to Lebanon as fertilizer,
Okay.
passing through Lebanon, going somewhere in Africa.
Okay.
And because of mechanical problems of the ship, they had to keep it in Lebanon.
Okay.
And stayed in Lebanon since that time until the explosion happened in 2020.
Wow, that is crazy to have that stuff sitting there
Yes.
all these years.
And
Obviously, so they're aware of it, and there was what negligence, basically.
Must
is
be.
Yes,
Negligence,
negligence,
yeah.
mismanagement, corruption. Could be for other reasons as well. Stayed
Yeah.
there in Lebanon because Lebanon also is surrounded by areas or countries which are at war, and anyone can go in and out of it
Yeah.
without control.
And I'm guessing probably it was like there must be some underhanded deal or understanding where we'll keep all the stuff over here, all the dangerous stuff, we keep it over there. And should you guys need access to it, you can talk to us. We might make a deal together.
Yes,
it must be that.
because some experts said the quantity that came to Lebanon was almost over 2,500,000 tons.
Yeah.
And some experts said what exploded is less than 700,000 ton.
Wow. that
So
is-
it could be like that difference smuggled somewhere,
Yeah.
sold to
Right.
someone.
It was sold to someone.
So I don't know. I mean,
But then now that you're in Hong Kong, you've been here for so long, does it still bother you a lot, the news back at home in Lebanon? I mean, putting aside family being over there, I'm just saying in general, because like a lot of people, they live somewhere else for long enough, kind of the news and stuff that's happening at home is kind of disconnected, where they feel like, oh, well, home's always been a mess anyway, but I'm glad I'm over here. Do you still have that same connection where you're like, oh, I cannot believe this is still going on back home? Or are you kind of
yeah,
going like...
true. That's what you are right. I still can't believe that people after so many years still believe things are coming one day to be better.
Yeah.
Without doing anything. So that's why seeing all these politicians who've been in power for the past 50 years,
Yeah.
they're just gonna die on the chair they're sitting in.
It's the same thing, right? Yeah.
And they haven't changed anything. The only thing they will change is just that we're gonna pass it on to their children,
yeah.
and their children will gonna carry on with the same policies.
Yeah.
So
So it's people making the same mistakes and expecting different results, basically.
exactly.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't see any changes coming before we change the whole group of politicians we have.
But I think, would you say it's also part of the culture? It's kind of like that thing where when you grew up and you watched all these politicians do it a certain way, and when you get into that position, you kind of get automatically like, well, they did it. They corrupted. I mean, what's my turn now? Do you have a lot of... Because a lot of people, what they will have is that, like parents, you grew up watching your parents slap you as a kid. When you become a parent, you start slapping your kids because you automatically think that's how it was for me. Why should I let it go for you? Right? Do you see that pattern over and over again? So I was reading a bit about the news about Lebanon, and I just noticed that the pattern would be, someone comes in with good intentions, and it just takes a short period of time, and they're like, oh, this system is so corrupt, but I could totally enjoy this. So screw you guys. I got here through my hard work. I'm going to enjoy this. Do you feel that pattern will never change?
Yes, I think so, because there is a greed involved inside that. Why should I work and when I can get easy money from doing that thing?
Yeah.
Like being
But, I mean,
corrupted or something.
But then, because if you look at it, the government system, religion has a big part in the whole politics as well, right?
Yeah, I think we have a bad example of...
Yeah. Because what I
Don't
find...
follow our example.
Yeah. Because what I find a lot of times when it comes to religion, usually there's some sort of corruption going on, but it's covered by the term religion, and automatically it just sounds like, oh, well, it's for the right. He's doing the right thing, because he's religious. So do you find that power, when people get into the position that they've got that veil of, I'm due to my religion, so therefore we do this, do you think that is the main reason of causing this problem all the time? Because I find that when people have an excuse of like, well, it's a religion, so I'm religious, so it's okay for me to take some of this money. God told me it's okay. Do you feel that is the main cause? Because what I see, that's a pattern that I'm noticing.
Well, this can be a starting point where you can protect the benefits of your group or community or religion. But what happened is after 50 years, when you find the same people in the same position talking about the same thing and they're not changing, basically they're getting wealthier.
Yeah.
that tells you there is something wrong going on.
Yeah.
It's not like you are coming here to protect our community or the benefits or rights of our community. We are coming here to get richer.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Yeah. So if we don't see any changes in faces in power, I think this is still corruption. No matter what religion you come from, or no matter what they talking about, protecting rights or no rights, it's still we're talking about corruption or corrupted people who've been in power for long enough to see all these disasters happening.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found fascinating about Lebanon when I was researching it is that after the civil war, basically, the constitution is done in a way when the president has to be Christian, the prime minister has to be Muslim.
Yes.
I think Sunni or Shia, one of them. And then there is another big figure that has to be the other side of the Muslim.
Yeah, you have...
To me, that's just insane because you're already forcing a position to be a certain like secular or a certain cult even, and then the people are going to support that no matter what, and they're going to keep voting him in instead of who is actually capable of doing the job. How did that come about?
Like I said, this is a bad example that we set for democracy in the area because Lebanon considered as a democratic country.
Yeah, we actually look up to you guys. Like in Egypt, everyone looking at Lebanon, except for the last few years.
Agreed.
We look at you as like the secular, like kind of like liberal, haven of the Middle East, like the country that we all want to be like, where like the liberties are just respected, people, personal freedoms are respected. A lot of these things that even in Egypt, which is considered also quite liberal society, is not anywhere close. When I went to Lebanon, I'm like, this is as close to Europe as it can be in the Middle East. So why is it not working?
Because basically it's not founded on a good thing. It doesn't have a good foundation. So what they're showing basically is what they want you to see. But behind that, there's nothing true of that. If you go and talk to anyone from different ethnic minority, from any religion, they will tell you that they have a lot of conflicts and problems inside their community, because if you're not part of the closed circle of the people in charge, basically you have no chance to do anything.
Yeah, they won't.
You have no job, you have no future, you have you don't get anything. So you have to leave. That's why you see the young people who are leaving Lebanon are from different groups, not just from one group, because you're all facing the same problems. You are not part of the circle.
Yeah.
You basically have no chance to do anything.
So the president, just as an example, the president always has to be Christian by law.
Yes, by institution. That's the institution. Yeah.
And how many?
Constitution.
How many? What's the percentage of Christian population in Lebanon?
Well, now there is no correct figures about the percentage for any community because things are changing. Things are kept in secret because you don't want to show who's minority or majority.
Right, because that's already tense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was basic when we got the independence. The Christians were a bit the majority of the population, almost over 50%.
Yeah.
And within after the war, during the civil war in 75 till 1990, less and less Christians stayed in Lebanon. They were going abroad. Not because of the war. It's the same thing because of if you're not from that circle, you can't get anything. So war divided basically Lebanon into different regions and where every region control its area.
Right.
And same. What happened on the level of politicians and proper government was happening at the level of warlords and militias. So if you're not part of the militia that time, you can't get anything.
I think it's really interesting though, like a group like Hezbollah, who are, considered not, I wouldn't say extremists, but are considered pretty conservative, are still working hand in hand with the government that they consider on the inside as infidels. But they still want to work with them on the politics level to keep Lebanon going, I guess, or to keep their interest going.
Yeah, that's for sure, to keep their interest going. That's why
so it's not to keep Lebanon going.
There is a common interest going on between all these parties.
I feel like Lebanon needs like a Batman. Just to come in and wipe it clean, like, all right.
Yes, we need we need a miracle.
Yeah, you need
Few of them.
Yeah, exactly. And you need someone who says, I believe in all types of gods. I'm a Christian and Muslim. It's like, whoa, look at that mixed religion person.
But then you made a great point, though, is that
Yeah.
like there are some people who go into power with the good intentions,
Yeah.
and they found the system so set up for corruption that they decide that they're like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna abuse that, and I don't care about the people.
Yeah, because that's basically what I've been noticing whenever I was reading about the whole situation is that no matter what happens is that pattern is the same. They get into the position, they might claim I'll do A and B and C, and we know you'll say you do 10 things, you do 2, that's all you're gonna do. But then you don't just not do the other 8, you end up doing the opposite of the other 8. And then like you see, because like when you go, it's kind of like when you walk into the system and you're like, you mean I could just press a button and solve my problems?
Right.
I never knew that was even a choice. But now that I can, so I heard 10 people, who gives a shit? I'm walk away. So I think that's the temptation. And also, like I said, the coverage of religion, saying, but I'm a religious person, it's got religion. So you feel a bit more like, hey, I'm doing the right thing,
Right.
I worked so hard to get this position. God's gifting me this ability to benefit off of the system as well. And that's why it's a recurring thing, I would feel. So what I'm saying is that, would you say that the best way to do this is literally like a hard reset? Like
Yes, we need
right?
that. We need that.
Like you need like basically a flooding Noah's Ark kind of reset.
Because it's mostly old politicians who are still in power.
Yeah, so the
they
system.
still have the mentality of like I rule.
Yeah.
I don't care who stays alive or not.
Yeah, it's much like the traditional family where it's always like respect your elders, and you end up always being that old school mindset.
Yes,
right?
that's exactly what's happening in Lebanon.
Whatever the grandparents said, that's how it is, and then it's a recurring thing because when you become a grandparent, you're like, well, my grandparents did that to me, so I can do that. So it's the same thing. So when you say a hard reset, would you have an example of some place that you're like, oh, if we did something like that, that might work for Lebanon in general? Like, democracy, yes, but like if we say, let's say in India, right? It's the world's biggest democracy, but they've got it's a democracy, yes, you can vote and everything, but the truth is behind it, it's still all religious based.
Yes.
So that issue's still there. Do you have any examples of some place that you think like, oh, they did a good job? If we had something similar that might work, do you have any thoughts of that?
Well, I think we don't need to follow so much the religion.
Right.
Okay.
Because in the name of religion, we are destroying the country. That's basically what's happening in Lebanon.
Yeah. Okay.
We have so many skilled and talented people, or they fit for any role in politics in Lebanon, but basically they're not given the chance. The minute they try to enter into politics, they're attacked by everyone, by enemies or friends, because you're taking my place.
Can we? We should have like a game show kind of thing. Like put all the politicians and see who's the most authentic. Like who knows
but
the
they
real
do that in the U.S. It's called debates.
Yeah, the debates.
Debates.
But that's like proper like debate. I'm talking about a proper game show with sound effects and everything.
Yeah,
All right, and like trivia quiz and all that. Because I feel a lot of politicians, they'll claim to be like, I love this place, this is my home and everything, but they don't know that much about the real situation of things. I'm sure they don't really know what's really going. They know what's going on. For example, the currency exchange issues that they have.
Yes.
They know that, okay, this is actually bullshit, okay? Having multiple currency exchanges and everything, it's obviously on the table that you can see, like, having that multiple choice is like, come on, are you telling me we're not going to abuse this? This is going to happen. Like, someone's going to get the benefit of a better exchange rate, the other's not going to. Whereas, like, if we put them on the spot where like the debates, like the US debates, where they have to put on the spot, but not based in Lebanon, because in Lebanon they have the power to maybe execute whoever did that to them. Would you say that if they were taken out of the country to a place to kind of get through this game show and ask all those questions where they don't have the benefit of like people protecting them, would you think that way it would be like a kind of a filter where you can't bullshit your way anymore? Would you say that? So in other words, basically like how the politicians claim to say A and B and C, right? But that's because they're in a place that they're comfortable and they have people protecting them. So they can say all the bullshit. But would you say that if they were put in a position where they have no protection and they have to answer those questions truthfully, do you think that way would filter all these kind of liars or the fake loyal people?
Immediately, because like I said, they are protected. They brainwashing all these people around them
to believe them.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So once you take them out, they have no followers, no believers.
Yeah.
And they will just vanish.
Because that's the thing, is like I was looking at the patterns, is basically like whenever they say something that's controversial, okay, they will say it, and if you don't believe me, but I'm a devout Christian, like, do you think I would lie to you? They're like, yeah, we would never lie to ourselves, right? Why would we do that? And bam, they've got the message across. So like you said, religion is the first thing, but I think the second thing is also the system itself needs to filter better, because like it's so easy to just say I'm going to come in and do A and B and C, and when you get in, there's no way to kind of stop them. There's no check and balance.
No.
Yeah. So
That's why we're having so many problems now coming up.
Yeah.
After so many years, and nobody is being charged for any of those crimes.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
They need to have a Chris to kind of eat the kebabs all day and be like, this is shit, this is trash,
Yeah.
let's throw that out.
Actually, yeah, that gets me to our next point. We obviously can, kind of see Lebanon on the news right now a lot. But what is the situation on the ground in Lebanon these days? Because obviously you have family and friends there. Like, how bad and what is the situation like? Like, are there big shortages in supermarkets? Like, are people getting, like, they can't afford? I was reading stuff about, like, no medicine is available. It's super expensive.
Yeah, shortages everywhere in medicine, in goods, groceries.
Yeah.
And the prices are going up day by day. Like, you never know what you're gonna be able to buy the next day.
Right.
Because, like, for example, our US dollar rate jumped from 19,000 and within 20 hours jump up to 23,000.
Which is crazy because the official rate is 1,500.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's a beautiful
insane.
place. If you read the news, it's a beautiful place.
Right.
But reality is terrible.
Okay,
Wow.
so are people like, if I have, let's say, $10,000 in the bank, am I able to go take them out or no?
No. This started like in 2019, kind of a capital control. You can't withdraw any of your
Wow.
cash.
Even
in
if
the
you
bank.
have your own money,
Even
like,
it's your money and it's sitting in the bank. You
Right.
can't just look at it, but you can't touch it.
but
Wow.
if you exchange it to lira, obviously you can.
Yes, but the rate at the banks is different than the black market. So basically, if you want to exchange to lira, you're losing a lot.
Right.
Wow.
So it's basically Lebanon defaulted on their debt
Yes.
to the internal debt, right?
Internal and external as well.
So it's basically a dysfunctional economy at this point.
It is, because we are basically now, you can't export anything.
Right.
Needed.
And the harbor is fucked.
Yes.
Which
and,
where you would badly need it to even import stuff in.
and more damage is happening at the seaport because they haven't rebuilt anything destroyed last year. So
There has
basically
been a year already.
Yes, and on the 4th of August will be 1 year anniversary.
Right.
Wow.
So
they
they
haven't
haven't
really
rebuilt anything. So what was still in operation is basically now collapsing.
Right. Is it because they don't have the money to, or is it again back to corruption and all this shit?
No money for it, and then the place is a crime scene, so they can't touch it, change much.
Yeah, but who's fucking investigating?
nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah,
What
So
are
don't
cri-
touch it until we tell you, and that's why things are going downhill now.
Yeah,
but
'cause
then
nobody's
you
doing
also
anything.
have almost 1 million Syrian refugees.
More than that, and we have Palestinian, and we have some Iraqis that nobody mentioned them any time.
But that means that this is a country, just like as a layman, this is like heading straight to a massive crisis.
Yeah, yes.
Like when the lira, just from my very basic economic education, if your black market and official rate are that different, that's a dysfunctional economy, that's for sure. But on top of that, you have a harbor that is not working. Your economy already depends on a lot of imports.
Yes.
And most of your talent are leaving the country. How the fuck do you go out of this mess? Is there? Let me ask it in another way. Is there a figure where Lebanese people can look at and be like, "That's our guy"?
None of those politicians at the moment.
Oh, clearly not the politicians.
So-
But is there someone among, maybe even a social media figure, someone who has a vision to, is like, you know what I mean? Like people rallying people up around them.
Well, there is also one thing in Lebanon that most of our decision making in Lebanon is basically given from outside. So every group in Lebanon, every party is following some powers somewhere.
So the influence is Iran. The influence is Saudi Arabia, France,
the West, yeah,
the West. Yeah.
anyone. So any figure trying to get involved, if he doesn't get the support from the outside,
Right, they will get
basically-
blocked basically.
Exactly.
But okay.
So I don't know why Lebanon was chosen to be a ring for all these fighters and battles in the world.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So basically, whenever they have problems anywhere in the world, you see the fight starting in Lebanon. We don't know why.
So would you say it's just like a proxy territory for other countries?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Would you say that it would change a bit if the Syrian crisis gets kind of like solved? Or is that not going to affect Lebanon
I don't
anyway?
think anytime soon is going to be solved in Syria because
Right.
they started something that with no end with it.
Right.
Every now and then you can have a new extremist group coming out and saying, okay, we want to get rid of all these infidels in power everywhere.
Yeah.
So you can't solve it. Maybe you can have a break from it, but it's not going to stop.
Wow.
That is heavy, man. You know what is not heavy? Your kebabs.
Extra
Nice.
vegetables.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew I'm going to go too deep into politics, so thanks for catching that.
No, like while you guys were talking, I was just
Yeah.
looking at like the different reviews that you have on Open Rice and like,
Ooh, nice.
yeah, I was just googling Beyrouth Bistro. Just to let everybody know, Beyrouth Bistro is available. Pretty much, it says officially until 2 in the morning. But hey, if you just walk down there, pretty sure
Yes,
Chris
yes.
is still
We
eating at
won't
4 in the
let
morning.
anyone go hungry.
Exactly. And yeah, so going down there, it's basically on Linda's Terrace, number 39. On the ground floor, you'll see them sitting in the corner, nice open kind of area.
Yes.
And the one thing that the reviews keep saying is that nice to chat at. People are very friendly
easy
to
talk
chat.
place.
Yeah, easy
you
talk.
You can always make friends there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so
If
that's
not
another
with
thing.
me, with others.
Yeah, but make sure you get something first. Like, don't
Yeah.
just go sit there and start
You
talking.
actually have an amazing talent that I think a lot of people point out to you. You never forget someone's name if you met them once.
Only friendly people.
No, that's not really true. I have hung out with you long enough to see you're like when someone you mention their name and then they leave and you're like, this person came here 5 years ago once.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you? I know obviously if you're sitting on the same corner every day and you kind of seeing the same people pass by, you might remember people's, but it's a special talent. You don't really forget anyone's name.
Yeah, and it became part of the job
Yeah.
to keep
True.
good
True, yeah,
relationship
yeah.
with
the most important thing is to remember who's their girlfriend, though. Like after
yes,
they
but
come
I don't-
back,
I
you're like,
can't say it.
oh,
That's actually true. You must know a lot about like your
Sometimes,
regulars.
yeah, I know I end up knowing too much and getting surprised all the
Yeah.
time. Like, wow, this guy
Okay,
is-
tell us some juicy stuff without names, obviously.
Yeah.
sure,
But
sure.
tell us like some. Okay, obviously I've been on the same corner for X number of years. You must have seen some rowdy stuff around you or crazy stuff, relationship, fighting, all that kind of stuff. Tell us a couple of fun stories, and then we'll end it there.
Well, normally let's start with some drunk people.
Yeah.
When they come there and I can see they are drunk, and I say no more alcohol, just food.
Right.
And then they will see someone next to them drinking a beer. They will grab his beer and drink without asking anyone.
Right.
Because they need alcohol. They don't care about food.
yeah.
Right.
So, and you will see that everyone is like, what? That's my beer. And sometimes that might start a fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they don't like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will be laughing at it, which is fun.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious, how many people have you seen when they're eating your food end up eating the foil that covers it as well?
Well, at one time, someone almost choked on the tissue, the paper tissue, because he was so hungry. He kept eating until he put the tissue, and I asked him to stop.
Yeah.
And he asked me why. I said, "You take out what you have."
Yeah.
And then he saw a big tissue paper
This
in
is
his
the
mouth.
power of your garlic sauce. Makes
Yeah.
tissue taste good already.
Exactly.
I think that was the power of the alcohol he had.
Did you see some of your regulars like bring like they have a girlfriend or a wife and then they bring their other
We
piece
saw that
around?
sometimes. You see them winking like this. Okay, so yeah. So you say, "Hi, a long time no see. How
Yeah.
are you?" Just basic question, nothing
Yeah,
deep.
Right. Yeah.
No
Exactly.
deep question. No.
And then you see them with their actual wife or their girlfriend
Yes,
the
and you
next
say,
time.
"Yeah, how are
hey."
you? Long time no see. What happened?
Yeah.
How are the kids and everyone?"
Did you ever get in
Beautiful.
trouble for saying the wrong thing to someone?
No, it was funny because as you mentioned, I
Yeah.
remember names
Yeah.
and faces.
Yeah.
For sure. So one guy came over and I said his name. And
Yeah.
his wife said, "Well, so you are regular here. That's why you tell me you're not coming to home early."
Oh.
So he said, no, I came here only once with the other guy. And
Yeah.
he remembered. It seems like he remembered my name.
Right.
So the lady did not believe him.
Yeah.
And I saw them like maybe 3 weeks later together. So I said her name.
Yeah.
She said, "Wow, you really do remember
Yeah.
names."
Yeah.
She looked at her husband like, he was like innocent. He was cleared from.
Immediately he tips you $100. He's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
saved me, man. You saved me.
Yeah, now they like it because they know that whenever I mention someone's name coming
Yeah.
in, when they come in and they say, yeah, this happens a lot to us before, and
Yeah.
so
Wow.
it makes it fun. Like people feel at ease when they when you call their names.
Yeah.
Basically, you can make them calm down, especially when they are kind of tipsy or aggressive a little bit.
Yeah.
Call their names and they will calm down because they don't know why you know their names. Maybe you know their boss. Maybe you know someone closer to them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
They
So
freak
basi-
out and you have
yeah.
to kind of like calm them down that you're
Yeah.
just being nice.
So say their name and then everything goes smooth.
I wish we had the budget to have like music on this channel, like say my name, say my name. But we can't. We can't afford it. So
No, okay.
We'll leave it at that, man.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Man, thank you so much for coming on. That was such a pleasure. I've wanted to do this for a while. I really, on a bit of a serious note, Lebanon is one of my favorite countries ever to visit. And it's such a shame what is happening there. And obviously it's a clusterfuck and we only touched the surface. But I hope there's a miracle coming somehow.